Welcome to Trading the Close. My name is Gareth Soloway, Chief Market Strategist here at VerifiedInvesting.com. Interesting day today. Number one, volume was insanely light. That's normal because tomorrow morning the CPI data comes out 8:30 a.m. and then tomorrow afternoon the FOMC policy rate decision followed by a press conference with Jerome Powell. So basically the first Monday, Tuesday of this week, super quiet. Markets generally floated neutral to higher, and then tomorrow is the potential for some major fireworks. Let's take a look at what the markets did today. Dow Jones Industrial Average fractionally lower. This is just because of a couple companies. You see some companies like Boeing today getting hammered just a little bit on the back of some negative news there. The NASDAQ, on the other hand, is up. Now, NVIDIA is actually down today, but you know what took its place? Apple. Apple craziness, because yesterday they had that big WWDC event where they unveiled the fact that they're going to incorporate ChatGPT into their phones. People kind of were like, meh, this isn't anything new. That's kind of how I felt. And, the stock sold off yesterday, right? It was down quite a bit. Today, somehow the narrative's changed. Magically, the analysts are out there and the mainstream media is just pumping it up and saying, oh, here it is, money rotating out of NVIDIA into Apple and Apple soaring. We'll look at that chart in just a minute. S&P 500 just fractionally positive, up about 10 points. Oil is down fractionally on the day, gold is up fractionally, and Bitcoin, which actually tagged my key 66,000 level, folks. How crazy is this? The levels just work amazingly well. We'll look at that chart in a second, but Bitcoin down about 2,000. It has bounced off 66,000 back to 67.5. We will look at that. All right, so follow me over to the big board here. Let's get our bearings on what the S&P did on an intraday basis. We saw the markets opening lower early on, and then on the 10-minute chart, and this is the 10-minute chart, so this is giving you a play-by-play throughout the course of the day. We saw the markets float, little lunchtime sideways action, float, and then a little bit of maybe short covering there going into the CPI data tomorrow morning. But honestly, guys, we're talking volume that, again, continues to be insanely light. If you look at the volume chart over the last month, it was basically, actually, let's even go back to last October. This is what the volume looked like. So last October is when the markets put in their bottoms, remember, in 2023. Since then, we've generally been higher, and volume has gone like this. So volume was heavy back then just lighter, and then this is where we are right now, the type of volume that we're seeing in the market. Unbelievably light action. All right. Couple stocks that we want to go over today. So after the bell, Oracle reports earnings. That's about a few minutes away. If we look at the daily Oracle chart, I was looking to see, is there any sort of indicator that I could make out in terms of a bias going into earnings? What I did find was a parallel channel that, again, matches all the lows along here. You can see just about a week ago or so we tagged that low end. But again, we're not at the lows of the channel. We're not at the highs of the channel. So in terms of probabilities and trying to find things, I just haven't been able to find anything that really gives me a solidified, angle. Is it going to sell off on earnings? Is it going to go up? I do think that if it goes up, this 136 to 138 high end of the channel would be a potential short. And then on the downside, I don't know if I'd want to short 116. It's only $8 lower. Excuse me, buy 116. It's only $8 lower. But maybe around the 112 level right in here could be an opportunity. So little things to watch here on the Oracle chart when they report in the after hours here in just a few minutes. Okay, let's touch base on Apple, guys. Incredible move on Apple here into the end of the day. Again, the stock is now up over 7%. I mean, these are types of moves that Apple barely ever sees. In the history of Apple, at least in the last 10 years, you could probably count on one hand how many times Apple has been up 7%. And again, it kind of drives me nuts because if you think about it, all they're doing is incorporating, ChatGPT into their systems. And in reality, every phone company, every phone maker is going to do this exact thing. But for some reason, after the sell-off yesterday, somehow analysts were like, oh, well, let's spin this so that it becomes a really good thing, and then you have this type of move. And interestingly enough, we can see that there is a trend line here, so I mean, it is worth keeping an eye on where we are up into this upper range here, but nonetheless, it still is just kind of a little rope-a-dope, if you will, right? And I'm trying to get my drawing tool up here. There it is. So we have this level to this level, and then we're right up into that level here. But again, either way, we'll have to see what Apple does. Don't be surprised if it continues to go up in the near term. Number one, you did break out above the recent highs right here, right? So if you put a little line right here, we are above those. And let's remember how NVIDIA acted. Once that narrative got into NVIDIA, it did continue to propel Apple up, or I should say NVIDIA up, so it could do the same thing with Apple. It's kind of like hot potato, right? NVIDIA was the hot potato. NVIDIA down today. The split's over. The hype is kind of fading a little bit. So now let's switch it over to the next one. And then after Apple, maybe it'll be switched over to another player there. All right, couple other stocks in motion or things that I wanted to look at here. The US dollar going into the Fed decision tomorrow continues to be up. For the last 3 days, we had this major technical support right in here. And again, we did see 3 up days in a row. To be honest, after 3 up days, it would not surprise me to see a little bit of a pullback tomorrow on the likes of the Fed decision and the CPI data, but let's watch that closely. And then the yield, the 10-year yield is also one to keep an eye on. Look at the 10-year yield actually falling today, and you can see it kind of was a pseudo retrace to the scene of the crime, right? You had this low and you connected through this low. We broke, we retraced, and now you're seeing some selling in the 10-year yield. We'll see if that continues tomorrow on the back of the Fed decision as well. So lots of things to watch here going into tomorrow's CPI data as well as the Fed decision. By the way, just a reminder, we'll be doing a live here. I'll be watching the charts, trading the charts live tomorrow in the 2 o'clock time frame all the way to about 2:45, which will be again for that Federal Reserve decision. Okay, a couple other things here. In fact, let's go to the Oracle chart on an intraday basis. Looks like earnings are out here. The stock is popping initially. So again, nice little pop. Look at this, guys. Wow, here it goes. So big push on Oracle here. So Oracle, again, nearing that 130 level. I did give you a level that I was watching. It was around 136, so we're still not there in the after hours. But 136, if it gets there, that looks to be a good level. Actually, closer to 138, to be honest, would be that level, 136 to 138. But nice move on Oracle in the after hours here, trading basically right at 130. We'll see if it gets a little bit more of a bid. Now, let's take a look at Bitcoin here in the after hours, or I should say it's still regular trading for Bitcoin as it always is. If we flip over to this daily chart on Bitcoin, take a look at this, guys. So if you guys have been following what I've been saying in the game plan and these trading the closes, I've been talking about the potential for a retrace to this level right here. Now, the key is, can it hold that level? Well, today we got our answer, at least for now. It dipped into 66,000, which was right there, and it bounced back to 67,350 right now. So amazingly, this level works. And again, it's not that I know anything that no one else can't figure out, right? All I did was look at the channel, connecting this low to this low, then drag the channel up into this range, and I noticed that price was dipping below these levels, but it never closed below here. And that tells me this is technical support. So what does price do? It goes right into it and it bounces off of this. This was a great little intraday trade if you're a trader of Bitcoin, or even if you trade the ETFs. You could trade IBIT and buy IBIT right off of that level, a 66,000 level. You would have done very, very well in this afternoon's trading. So nice little move right there. All right. Now, again, on a basis of this, it's very simple to read this chart. Any daily close below here, bearish. As long as it stays above here but below here, neutral to positive bias. So it's kind of like a plus, but it's not like an all-out bullish bias. It's more neutral to positive. And then any breakout above here, that would be all-out bullish to the upside, at least to 74, if not breaking through 74. So very easy to follow the levels, where the level is. And right now, we're in a neutral to bullish bias remaining. Now, let's go to gold real quick. Gold ahead of tomorrow didn't do a whole lot. We got kind of that inside bar secondary move here. So if we look at this, right, big down day, some inside bar action. Now, a lot of people would look at this and say, is this bearish? The answer is yes, slightly. And again, it's the difference between a mature pattern and an immature pattern. What's an immature pattern? An immature pattern is not a fully formed pattern. When you're looking at a down move, you're looking to see, is it making a bear flag? For a bear flag to form, you probably want 4 to 7 candles of sideways consolidation. This only has 2. So yes, it's the preliminary start, what I would call an immature pattern. But again, it doesn't give you the probabilities that a straight up good formed bear flag would have to it. So is this a little bit bearish going into tomorrow? Yes, but not enough to really sway me one way or the other on the gold chart. So we'll watch to see. I do think it makes a move in the early session tomorrow off of that CPI data. Quickly going to oil today. We talked about oil's retrace to the scene of the crime. Oil did get a small pullback today. So if we flip over to the oil chart, very, very small. Lots of resistance here. Down-sloping trend line, up-sloping trend line, right, giving it into this mix. So again, for me, I am expecting a move back down on oil. Again, the Fed may trigger something like that tomorrow, depending on what they say. We'll watch it like a hawk, and I'll update you guys tomorrow in Trading the Close. And then lastly, natural gas, guys. Again, amazing move after a big reversal yesterday, moving to the upside and breaking that previous high. You can see I put in my new technical resistance level. Now, to find this level, super simple. I love playing connect the dots with the charts. Taking that low, so that was a major pivot low. How do you know it's a major pivot low? Because on either side, it's the lowest point, right? So lots of trading days here, lots of trading days here, and this was your lowest point. Take that low, connect it to the high right here. We get a line right there. I think that's where you could find natural gas tomorrow. That would be a good resistance level. So something to watch there on the charts. And I think price-wise, that's maybe around 325, give or take. But nice move up on this chart of natural gas after kind of the double top yesterday, the dip, and then the strong move to the upside today. All right, so when all is said and done, guys, I do want to flip back one more time to Oracle here. Let's just see what Oracle's up to in the after hours. But I do think that, again, I think we can all agree, and it looks like Oracle's still around 130, so it's still hanging in there. But I think we can all agree that tomorrow is the big day. Tomorrow's the big day of the week. CPI and the Federal Reserve. And as always, folks, I got the game plan in the morning. The Fed decision I'll be on live for, so watch that right here at Verified Investing. You can watch it right on the homepage or on YouTube. And then also Trading the Close. I'm going to be tired by tomorrow at the end of the day. I guarantee it. But I'm going to deliver everything I got up here and trades so you guys can know exactly what's going on. You guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks for tuning in to Trading the Close. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.